Dior is a luxury fashion brand that was founded in 1946 by French designer Christian Dior. Dior was born on January 21, 1905 in Normandy, France, and he began his career as an art gallery owner in Paris. He began designing for the fashion house Robert Piguet in the 1930s, and he also worked for Lucien Lelong before starting his own fashion house in 1946. Dior's first collection, presented in 1947, was called the New Look, and it featured a revolutionary silhouette with a full skirt, cinched waist, and padded hips. The New Look was a stark contrast to the austere, wartime fashions of the 1940s, and it was an immediate success. The collection put Dior and French fashion back on the map, and it established the designer as one of the leading couturiers of the 20th century. Dior expanded globally and also diversified into other areas such as perfumes, jewelry and home interiors. Unfortunately, Christian Dior died in October 24, 1957. The brand was led by several designers after Christian Dior's death in 1957, including Yves Saint Laurent, Marc Bohan, Gianfranco Ferré, John Galliano, Raf Simons, and Maria Grazia Chiuri, who are all contributed to make the brand one of the most iconic luxury fashion brand in the world. In the 1960s, Dior was a well-established luxury fashion brand over a decade. Marc Bohan took over the creative direction of the brand after Dior's death. He continued the legacy of the New Look silhouette that Dior is known for, as well as modernizing the brand with new bold styles and synthetic fabrics. Jacqueline Kennedy and Audrey Hepburn were one of the famous women who wore Dior. Dior also opened shops around the world, solidifying its position as one of the most prestigious luxury fashion brands. In the 1970s, Dior was still a well-established luxury fashion brand, but the decade saw some changes in the brand's creative direction. Marc Bohan continued to lead the brand throughout the 1970s, but his designs began to evolve to reflect the changing fashion trends of the era. The 1970s was a decade of social and cultural change, and this was reflected in the fashion of the era. The fashion trend of the decade shifted away from the more formal, structured styles of the 1960s towards a more relaxed, bohemian aesthetic. Dior in the 1970s adapted to the changing fashion trends of the era by introducing more relaxed, bohemian-inspired styles, bold prints and colors, and also expanding its product line to include ready-to-wear clothing. The 1980s was a decade characterized by bold, flashy, and often over-the-top fashion. The decade was heavily influenced by the rise of pop culture and the emergence of new materials like lycra, which allowed for more figure-hugging styles. Shoulder pads, big hair, and bright colors were all popular trends of the era. Dior adapted to these trends by introducing more dramatic, sculptural designs with exaggerated shoulders and bold, colorful prints. The brand also began to experiment with new materials such as lycra, which was used to create figure-hugging styles. In addition to the fashion, the brand also underwent some changes in the management side, as in 1984, Bernard Arnault, the chairman of LVMH, Louis Vuitton Moet Hennessy, purchased the company, and appointed the Italian designer Gianfranco Ferré as the chief designer of the brand. The 1990s was heavily influenced by the rise of minimalism and a return to more classic, timeless designs. This trend was reflected in the fashion world, where simple, clean lines, and minimal embellishments were popular. The brand also began to experiment with new materials such as lightweight fabrics, like chiffon and silk, which were used to create floaty, ethereal styles. During the 2000s, Dior had John Galliano as the chief designer. He was known for his extravagant and theatrical runway shows, and his collections often referenced historical periods and cultural influences. His tenure was marked by several successful and iconic collections. In 2007, Dior was acquired by LVMH, Louis Vuitton Moet Hennessy, which is the largest luxury conglomerate in the world. Overall, the brand remained one of the most prestigious and influential fashion houses throughout the 2000s. In 2010, Dior showcased its Haute Couture collection in Paris, where Galliano presented his interpretation of the new look that Christian Dior had introduced in 1947. The collection was praised for its elegance and femininity, and it received positive reviews from the fashion press. Also, Dior continued to expand its presence in the global market by opening new stores and launching new product lines, such as the Dior Homme line for men. However, it was also the year when John Galliano was fired from the brand after a video surfaced showing him making anti-Semitic comments in a Paris cafe. This incident caused a scandal and major blow to the brand reputation. In 2020, the creative director of the brand was Maria Grazia Chiuri, who took over the role in 2016. Under her direction, the brand continued to present successful collections that were praised for their elegance and femininity, drawing inspiration from the brand's rich heritage and modernizing it for the contemporary audience. Dior was also actively expanding its e-commerce and digital presence to adapt to the new reality of the pandemic and the changes in consumer behavior. The brand launched several digital initiatives and campaigns, including virtual runway shows and online exclusive collections. However, the pandemic had a significant impact on the luxury fashion industry, and Dior was not immune to it. As a result, the brand had to temporarily close some of its stores and adjust its production and supply chain. Overall, despite the challenges faced in 2020, Christian Dior remained a leading and influential luxury fashion brand in the industry. Today, Dior remains one of the most prestigious luxury fashion brands in the world, with a wide range of products including haute couture, ready-to-wear, leather goods, shoes, and accessories, as well as beauty and fragrance products. The brand is known for its elegant and sophisticated designs, as well as its use of high-quality materials and craftsmanship. As of today, Dior has created strong partnerships with Hollywood celebrities and social media influencers to work on modernizing its brand. From Natalie Portman and Rihanna to Kim Jisoo of Blackpink and Jimin of BTS from South Korea. Dior is set to instill its mark as a worldwide brand of elegance, luxury and timeless style.